Kamen Rider.
Decay, 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 no!
Hi guys, and for today's video, I'm going to give you my review for Kamen Gavv, episode 21. Let's begin with the review. Okay, so the episode opens up what the previous episode left off, where Hanto discovers, Shoma is with, Kamen Rider Ram, and of course, Shoma is a bit surprised, but also, Hanto is a little bit surprised, but also pissed off at the same time. Shoma's all nervous, and Shoma tries to explain himself, but Hanto, he's all pissed off, and, he basically rages out at Shoma, and it's a really emotional, gut-wrench moment between, Shoma and Hanto, and we see, Hanto eventually punches, Shoma, and then, Hanto leaves, and Shoma is, a little bit, confused, but also kind of sad at the same time. And then Ram is in the background just watching it, just like doesn't give a damn about it. And then we do cut back to a scene with Hanto and Suga. And Suga, they're just talking about how, Hanto is like, a little bit still pissed off and confused about, Shoma being with the Granute, that being Kamen Rider Ram. And of course, Suga being all sinisterly doing stuff is like, well, I don't know, maybe Shoma's a bad guy as well. And we see Suga just playing dumb, but of course Suga is playing both sides. Suga is playing both sides. But of course, Suga in this conversation with Hanto is just acting all dumb and just say, well, I don't know, maybe he's a bad guy, maybe he has secret motives, I don't know, who knows, Hanto. And then we eventually cut to a scene with the villains. We see, we see Longo talking to Neville, and they're talking about how they're making progress, but also the fact that, their new, soldier, or essentially Kamen Rider Ram, is, hasn't reported back yet. And then, and something strange is going on. And then we eventually cut back to Sachiki, and Sachiki is, there at the handyman workplace. And eventually, Shoma shows back up. Eventually, Sachiki and Shoma talk things out, and, Shoma made a lie about, how, he just fell down and hit his face, or he got an accident where, he got that bruise on his face, which we know Hanto basically punched him in the face. So, he makes up a lie, and then Sachiki's like, oh, okay. But eventually Sachiki, says she's not going to give up finding that one teen kid and finding those other missing people. And eventually Shoma, eventually tries to, look at some more, Granutes, or try to, look at some other stuff to get the fact that Hanto, was angry at him. And eventually we cut back, and then we see, Hanto is, thinking to himself about, Shoma, and, thinking about, is Shoma lying to him? What's going on? Is he working with the villains? I thought Shoma was my friend. I thought we were allies. And, he's just contemplating about Shoma. Eventually, he gets a report about, more missing people, or in fact, he gets a report about something mysterious going on. And then we cut to a mysterious person, a mysterious someone who looks like Shoma. And this mysterious person that looks like Shoma, he says he's hungry. And so he eventually goes up to this, I want to say, this food stall. And eventually, he's like, I'm hungry. And the guy offers him, some free food. But eventually, the Shoma lookalike, basically, just eats the food, but also saying, I'm hungry even more. And we get to see him just creating a bunch of, gochizos, but also, he's about to, attack the man. And then we see, eventually Hanto shows up, and Hanto, sees this, Shoma lookalike, and he thinks it's actually Shoma, so Hanto transforms into, his Kamen Rider form, and then we see the Shoma lookalike henshins into his Kamen Rider form, which we meet our fourth Kamen Rider for the series, Kamen Rider Bitter Gavv, another evil rider. And let me tell you something, I really love the design for Kamen Rider Bitter Gavv. It's such a sinister and cool looking design. And it reminds me a lot of Nemesis Prime from Transformers, considering this is basically, this Shoma look like is indeed a clone of Shoma, but we find out now in later episodes. But the Shoma looks like henshins into his Kamen Rider form. Eventually, the Shoma look like and Hanto fight each other. And we see Hanto eventually, does get a little bit of the upper hand. But eventually the Shoma look like does get the upper hand on Hanto. And then we see, the Shoma look like just beat the crap out of Hanto. And he's about to finish Hanto off until none other than Vram shows up. And he basically, saves Hanto, and he transforms, and he starts fighting, the Hanto look-alike, and the episode ends off there. Holy crap, guys, this was such a spicy episode, I would say. We got to meet our new Kamen Rider for this episode. We got to see a lot more spicy stuff going on between Hanto and Shoma. We get to see the cracks in their friendship form. We get to see their allyship, partnership, we crackle a bit. We get to see Hanto contemplate things about, Shoma. We get to see Shoma just contemplating as well. And this was a spicy episode in general, and I really enjoyed this episode. Really enjoyed the action scenes. Really enjoyed, the character, the character dynamics, and, seeing our characters, get to fall and, get to, just to get, pushed down. And we get to see, some more things with the story in the background, the overarching story in the background, along seeing Suga, also, scheming towards the background, and seeing his evil plans, get to scheme in the background. But overall, this was a pretty solid and good episode. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for my review for episode 22. I hope you guys like and enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for more content on the channel. Stay tuned for more Transformers and Tokusatsu related content on the channel. And stay tuned for more non-Tokusatsu related content on the channel. Stay tuned for tomorrow for my episode 4 review of #1 Sentai Gojuger. And stay tuned for my up-and-coming Gundam G-Quax video. I am still working on my Gundam G-Quax video, so stay tuned for that whenever I upload that on the channel as well. And stay tuned for more content in general on the channel. Make sure to like and share this video. Also, subscribe to the channel. By subscribing to the channel, you'll be really supporting me as a content creator and really supporting the channel. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.